Right there. Hello, and happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, September the 17th, and we are again at the lovely Hyatt House Hotel downtown Augusta, the rooftop, Broad Street, and we are joined today by none other than the lovely Miss Tamika Allen, City of Augusta IT Director. She's been in that role for a long time. She is also a mother, she's a wife, she's a community advocate. She does a lot of things, and her bio is very lengthy, and I hate that I didn't bring it to share, but I want you to share a little bit about yourself. So welcome to Tuesday Talks with Tonia Tamika.
Thank you,
For
Tanya.
being my guest, and tell us a little bit about yourself. So explain some of your bio, because you've won several awards for the city. You do a lot. You're in the community personally as well as through the city, but just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay. I am the director, as you said, of information technology for the city of Augusta. I've been doing that for roughly about 18 years. I was probably one of the youngest directors to take that role. I was the first African American woman to take that role at the age of 32. I've been an advocate of technology for quite some time. So that with my background and my degrees are in computer science and computer engineering, and I have my MBA. So I've always focused on technology. I've worked in the city of Augusta for about 27 years now. I know. It's quite a long
But
time.
you only look 27. You started when you were like one.
I wish. So I've been doing it for quite some time. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I've served in various capacities with the city of Augusta. I've for about 9 or 10 years, I served dual roles as the information technology director as well as the city deputy administrator. And for a year in 2014, I actually served as the city administrator. So I had the opportunity to do a lot of great things in the city of Augusta government. But technology has always been my passion. And I believe in giving back. So I have a lot of various things that I'm involved in. I have a girls club at Hornsby. It started out at Craig Houghton before, of course, it closed. We have Christmas kids that we adopt, the department as a whole. We have a lot of things, and I believe in trying to do what I can to encourage young ladies to get into the field of technology.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to invite you. As we look around Augusta and as we understand we're in what I call a cyber tsunami. And what that is a lot of people are like, why is everybody talking about tech and technology? Augusta is one of the cyber capitals of the world. We were nominated by Forbes magazine as number 7. I mean, as one of 7, with other cities like Tel Aviv and Atlanta and other places. And when you think about Fort Gordon and what their cyber center of excellence, and then we've built now this huge facility downtown Augusta on Reynolds Street that focuses on cyber. You think about everybody that's coming to the city and the growth and the expansion. Talk about what that means and the impact that it's going to have on our city or on our people that live in our city.
Oh my God, it's going to have a major impact on it. And, I actually serve on the task force with the school board because one of the things that we're trying to do, and I really believe in being an advocate for our children in the community. And one of the things I believe in is starting out early, teaching them about technology. I have been doing camps through the city of Augusta for probably about 10 years. And the past 2 years, we've done a cyber and robotics camp for middle grade students. And you were a very integral part in making that a success for us. So I believe in starting with the youth because, of course, as everybody knows, the youth is our future. And in order for us to get them prepared for this cyber world that's coming here in Augusta, we have to start off early. Yeah. And a lot of the youth, believe it or not, know more about technology than some of us at my age. I mean, they are just so into technology. So if we don't, start shining and rubbing on that knowledge that they have and letting them use that for the potential of getting career paths and things in the technology world, we're going to lose it. And so we have to go ahead and start off early.
And that's a good point because the cyber world has so many unfulfilled positions because they just don't have people that can meet the qualifications. And when you think about it doesn't take a whole lot. From what I've learned is you could go to Augusta Tech and get an 18-month certificate and still come out making 65 automatically. We have some
Exactly.
young people in the city doing just that. They went to high school, but they did the dual enrollment with college, and now they're coming out of high school making 65,000. They making more than what I was making. I'm
That-
like,
That's
really?
it.
And they have a certificate. So the importance of starting them early, getting them involved, because a lot of times, I know for me, I was never a math person or a science person. Like, I hated all of that stuff. But now you see the importance of it now, and it's coming full circle when we were balking about having to do that science and that math. And now they add STEAM. So
Yep.
it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and
And
math. And I think a lot of times the women get left behind because it seems to be a man's world in
it
that
is.
field.
It is.
So speak to that.
When I started off about 30 years ago, and I went into my parents asked, of course, the typical was, are you going to be a school teacher? Are you going to, Tamika, you're smart enough to do anything you want to do, but are you going to be a nurse? Are you going to be, nothing ever came of, you're going to be a computer scientist.
Right.
That was not one of the options. And I think back in those days, 30 years ago, that wasn't a topic that was discussed, especially with females.
Right.
So I told them, I said, I'm going into either computer science or I'm going into law. And it's like, okay, man, maybe law, but computer science, what the heck is that?
Right. And you're a woman.
Because I'm a girl, it's
Mhm.
nothing that people talk
Yeah.
about. And so I was committed to computer science. And back in those days, you were really a nerd. You were really a geek if you went into computer science. And I went into the programming field of it. So it wasn't just basically information systems. It was more of sitting up there coding, staying up all night coding and the challenges of it. And so they thought, she'll change her major. So when I went, it was a challenge. And most people that you find in technology appreciate a good challenge. So my advisor, they sent me to, and she said, just let you know, Miss Allen, this program is going to take most people 5 or 6 years because this is something that most, of course, women don't do. You're going to look around and you're going to see a lot of people go into it with you, but they're going to change their majors probably by the next semester, when it starts getting to serious coding. And I was like, no, I'm going to finish in 4 years. I'm committed to 4 years, and I'm not going to just finish with computer science. I'm going to finish with computer engineering as well. And she was like, really? Okay. And granted, she was a female as well, but it just was not something that we were so pushed to do. And so when it was all said and done, and of course I did graduate with both of them in 4 years, I was probably a little crazy and all, but it's because I was committed to doing just that. And you realize it's not a lot of women. I did see a lot of people come in and leave out and go to other things. And when I go to different events, when I first became a director of technology, I'll never forget, I went to my first Georgia GMIS, which is a government management information group that's consistent of all the respective cities in Georgia. And not so inclusive of the Atlanta group, because that does have some diversity. But when I walked into the room, I was the only African American female amongst a room of white males, because of course technology CIOs, directors of technology are mostly white males over the age of 50. That is just what is dominant for. So when I walk in there with the dress on and the room just got quiet, like, what is she doing here?
Like you lost.
Yeah, I was lost, and I'm sitting there saying, this is where I belong.
Exactly.
And so for many years, I walked into that room and I was the only one for many, many years. And we had one lady who was a deputy director, and she eventually retired. And she was just so glad to see that it was somebody, the world was changing a little bit. But I'll be honest, it's still really behind because the number of young African Americans that are focusing in technology is still low in comparison to the number of males that are doing it. And it's no different in the engineering field, but it's definitely prominent in the computer science field. So anything I can do to try to change that mindset. And when I go and speak to the young girls, and I go speak all over the different schools and different groups, my thing is, I know all of them get fascinated with hair and shoes and all this kind of stuff. And I want to be a beautician, and there's nothing wrong with that career. but I try to open their minds to some form of technology,
Yes.
something,
Yes.
because if not, they end up getting left
They're
behind.
going to get left behind.
So we have to kind of encourage our kids. And I'm one to say all that, and neither one of my kids want to go into into what I do, but they
Right.
both want to be in some form of engineering.
Mhm.
So you have to try to talk to your kids and try to get them involved in some form of engineering or computer science or some technical field. You know, I ask kids all the time. They say, "Well, I want to make a certain amount of money."
Mm.
I said, "Okay.
Yep.
So if you want to make a certain amount of money, you have to figure out which career you're going in. But I'll tell anybody, don't go in a career
For
for the
money.
money.
That's right.
Go in a
That's
career
right.
because it's something you love
Love
to
to
do.
do.
At the end of the day, every day, you know, it's not a good day because we're all human, but I'm going to a place that not necessarily that you love the place as much as I love what I
What you
do.
do. Mhm.
So I tell people, do what you love to do. If you want to be a criminal justice major because you want to do this in criminal justice, work probation officer, what have you, keep in mind you're not going to make a lot of money.
That's right.
But
That's
if that's
right.
what you want to do, do that.
Mhm.
Don't go in a field that you're not going to be happy with, even if
Right.
it is computer
Right.
science,
Right.
because you'll
Right.
sit there and you'll be miserable,
Miserable.
and the
Miserable.
pay will not suffice
It
for the
won't.
misery that you'll be
It won't.
involved
And
in.
that's a good point when I think about the money.
Oh, yeah.
The money piece, private versus public sector.
Mhm.
Working at the city, you've seen people come and go because the city can't afford to pay what the private sector pays. And so we typically lose a lot of good talent to places that can pay them more money. So doing it for what you love and not for the money is very important. When I
It
think
is.
about, just the transition out of just the city in 4 years that I was there, 4.5, 5 years that I was there, seeing people leave, like, they went where? And it's like, no, we need them. But people who can do it and have the skill set to do it and go make money,
Mhm.
I applaud them. But at the same time, how do you get people to come into public service doing something like this, knowing that they're not going to make as much money as they could in the private sector?
It is very difficult because most people know, just as you stated, that you get a lot more pay. I probably can leave the government sector right now with my years of experience in education and stuff and make probably 100,000 more than what I make
Right.
now, and not really have to move far from
Right.
where I am.
Yeah.
I could probably work from home and make
Yeah.
60,000 more than what I
Yeah.
make now.
Yeah.
And the employees know that. But what I tell them and what I stress to them, because unfortunately people have such a low respect for government
Hmm.
that they feel that everybody's the typical government employee that's lazy, and the perception is they do
Right.
no work, they're
Perception.
not
Hmm.
knowledgeable, they don't know what they're doing, they really don't care about the taxpayer, and that's farthest from the truth.
Right.
And especially in our department, I constantly, and I have to remind our group that the people that are working for information technology, you are IT professionals that just choose to provide your services to the government.
Yes.
Don't ever get the mindset that I
Yeah.
am a government employee, so I have to think like a government
Right.
employee.
Right.
I believe in running our operation over there like a business. And some people say, Miss Allen, you run information technology totally different than others may run their respective departments and or the organization as a whole, because I believe that you have to be based on the fact that people can go and make more
Right.
money. You have to
Right.
operate,
Right.
control your operation
Right.
in a competitive mode
Hmm.
so that they can feel that, okay, I enjoy what I do, I'm giving back, I'm doing public service, because by working here I'm not getting a lot of
Right.
money that I could be making, but I'm doing public service and I'm enjoying it, and I'm just as competitive as the people that are in the private
That's
sector.
right. That's
And I
right.
tell them, I said, you have an opportunity. I had a very good friend of mine, she's a CIO, and we talk constantly about the differences of what I do and what she does. She may be in charge of one system at this company she's a CIO over, and she makes a heck of a lot more money than I do, and she get bonuses every year.
Mm.
And at sometimes I say, oh my God, what am I
Yeah.
thinking about? I've been here
Yeah.
all these years. What's
Yeah.
wrong with me?
Yeah.
She's getting this big bonus check and tell me
Yeah.
she can go get a new car. And I'm like, oh my God, why am
Yeah.
I still here?
Right.
But it's the fact of what I do
Hmm.
and the impact that I have on so many different people. And the fact that she may be making more money. She may be getting a bonus, but she hates the environment that she's working in.
Yeah.
I don't hate the environment that I work in. It is challenging every day, but I know there are good people that are hopefully utilizing the technology tools that we provide to do their job more efficiently for our citizens. So I get something out of that. Whereas she's monitoring one system that's controlling the whole operation. And don't get me wrong, it's about profit. And so once that profit happens, she gets that big bonus check because the systems didn't go down. And so everything is okay. Well, on our, I look at it as if we working for a profit because at the end of the day, we have to demonstrate our value to the organizations, to the taxpayers. So we have something that we have to demonstrate as well. So I make sure that the people that work with me realize that we have to demonstrate that value. So they know they may not make the money that the private sector make, but they get just as much or more fulfillment about what they're doing.
And I think that's key, fulfillment, knowing that you're making a change, you're making a difference. A lot of times people thought I was crazy staying at the city, knowing that I could go anywhere with my skill set and make more money. But a lot of times it's not even about you. It's about, because if you're a servant, then you're always thinking about somebody else. We're thinking about the taxpayer. We're thinking about the co-workers. We're thinking about the city as a whole, because we love the city of Augusta and we want the city of Augusta to be shown or, displayed in the best possible light. So sometimes you make the sacrifice on you versus you hoping that something out there doesn't happen to make the community sacrifice. So at the end of the day, your employees know they are valued. I mean, I've seen them get awards and I've seen them come into the chamber and you celebrate them. And that's the good thing about it. What you do is celebrate them. Let them know that you're valuable. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. And a lot of times, even on a lot of our jobs, you don't get that appreciation. You don't get that pat on the back. You don't get that, hey, thank you for sacrificing, staying over and, coming in early and not getting paid, because the way the city is set up, it's not overtime much to be had in certain departments because they're constantly cut. So you got to figure out creative ways to reward people for working hard and, going above and beyond and taking that extra step to make sure that the community is good, that the city is good as a whole. So I know I've watched you from afar and up close and personal, being able to work with you. The cyber camp that you do is phenomenal. And we do have to do that more in the community when we can. We have to expand that because our young people have to understand that this cyber thing is not going away.
No, it's not.
And we don't want our children to be left behind. We don't want women to be left behind. And that's my biggest thing is, how can more women get involved? Like, how do you start? What, like, even if somebody's of age or older and, do I go back to school and get a degree in this, or is something like this an opportunity for me? So what do you say to that seasoned young woman that may want to do what you do or travel that road?
I would say it is never too late to do what you want to do. You know, age is nothing but a number. You know, whatever you focused on and whatever you committed to and whatever you're passionate about, you can make happen. Computer science, I'm not going to say it's for everybody because it's not. College is not for everybody. You know, just like you said, Augusta Technical School, College, Aiken Technical College, all those colleges, technical colleges, are just as good because you can get the experience and the knowledge that's necessary to be successful in the cyber world. Cyber is so broad. It is just not security. Some people think cyber means just security, and it doesn't mean just security. It's all technology all over, different, facets of the technology world. So I would tell people there's so many different facets of what you can do in the technology arena. You just have to figure out which one works for you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be coding, and it could be web development. Some people use that creative, and that's kind of why they instill the art into the STEM program, because everybody's not a developer as much as they are creative. I am not creative at all. I can tell somebody what I want to see, but I can't go and create it. So I missed that piece. But you have people that are very artistic, and they can get in there and they don't even realize, because of the software, they can use software to create certain things and certain websites that they are really programming. They're really coding. So, I'll tell anybody, figure out what you want to do as it relates to technology and just go for it. I mean, it's no
right or wrong because it's so broad and
it's
it's so needed. I mean, there are over 100,000 jobs unfilled in that space. And you think about Fort Gordon, you think about what we're doing here downtown, but all across the community and all across the country, quite frankly. And I don't want women to be left behind. I don't want our children to be left behind. Talk a little bit more about the cyber camp that you've done for the last couple of years.
So the cyber camp is for middle grade students, and they come in the first week. It's a 2-week camp. We have one in June and we have one in July, and everybody up, can respectively in Richmond County because of Richmond County dollars. We ask that you apply. We do a random selection process. We've had over 200 people on our waiting list to get into the camp because unfortunately we can only take care of 25 students. The thing about the camp is everybody who works on that camp is volunteering. Everybody on my staff, they don't get paid the extra dollar for what they're doing. I don't get paid the extra dollar for what we do. But that's the part of working with great people. And I must say, I have a great team of people I work with that are committed to giving back. I mean, I have some right now that's working with the Croc Center because they're trying to throw a cyber camp. They don't get paid for that. It's on a volunteer basis. So we do what we can to get out into the community. And it relates to women and young girls. I do whatever I can, and I try to encourage a lot of us to get out and speak to these young girls and try to encourage them to go into that field. I mean, I had a young girl, and this, I get stopped a lot because when I did the camps years ago, and it was camp data back in those days, we didn't have the robotics portion of it like we do now. Cyber the first week, and they build an actual robot the second week, and they're using coding to actually operate the robot, and they can take it home, and we give them coding information, and we're getting ready to up it for next year. So yeah, it's gonna be really awesome next year. But what we tell the young girls is, I had a young girl that was back in one of my classes years ago, and we used to call it camp data, and it was just to get them acclimated to technology and doing all kind of projects and stuff. And so she contacted me, and her dad said, I want to thank you. I said, thank me for what? He said, I want you to know my daughter, when she graduated from high school, wanted to do what you do. And so she wanted to major in computer science. As a matter of fact, I think she was the second to graduate in her class at Richmond Academy. And her major was computer science. Wow. When she left, she sent me a video. She actually got a scholarship to work at Google for the summer. And she got a full ride for computer science as her major. So those are the stories that I love to hear. He said, because he said to me, I'll be honest with you, her major, she never talked about computers. Never, until she came to your camp. And she actually ended up in my camp each year. She ended up coming back each year, just God sent. And her whole mind started leaning toward technology. So now she's like in her second year, computer science, full rides, full scholarship. She had so many thousands of dollars in scholarships because of her grades that it was crazy. She couldn't figure out where she wanted to go. So I was very proud of her, and I still keep up with what she's doing. And she always lets me know that it's because of the camp. And that makes me feel good. And I see a lot of parents, and they'll say, just want you to know, my son is in, and he's taking up computer science at Augusta Tech. And I'm like, really? She said, yes, ma'am. I just wanted you to know. And I'd be like, oh my God. It just makes you feel good. So as much as you can instill in them, as much as you can work with them, as much as we can try to let them, encourage them to get into the technology arena. I mean, that's and let them see that every woman is not, it's not something people can be it when they see it.
That's right.
And you can't exactly. So when I go and I ask them, sometimes I test young girls and I say, what do you think I do? They say, fashion. You shop a lot. You wear heels. I know that. Okay, you work in the mall. And so I said, and they just go and they're like, I don't know. What else could you be doing?
Right.
And I said, I'm a director of technology. And they look at me like, what is that?
Right. First, what is that?
Exactly. What is that?
Right.
And then I tell them, and I said, do you have an iPhone or something? They all got iPhones, and they pulling them out and they saying this. And I said, guess what? I can program that. It's like, What?
And
And
they
they
looking
looking
at you, but
like,
you dress like
yeah, but
that.
you dress like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, I said, yeah, back in the days we were
Yeah.
nerds, but let me tell you
Yeah.
something. Nerds are cool
That's
now.
right.
You don't know?
Nerds are in.
We're in. We're the ones that are in now. The nerds are, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it shocks them.
Yeah.
So you like that?
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
they so amazed that I like
Yeah.
math and
Yeah.
science, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
just, they never
And you can
think it.
dress cool and dress the part and
Exactly.
be fabulous
Exactly.
as an IT person.
And that's what I tell them.
Yeah, because you make the money to do that.
That's right.
Yeah, so they have
That's
to
right.
see. I think you have to show them the balance.
Mhm.
I can make money and I can look this way because of the money that I make, because of
Mhm.
the skills that I have
There you
and
go.
what I bring to the table.
That's right.
And that's awesome to get that feedback that, hey, you encouraged my child to go above and beyond what they probably would have done. Because a lot of our girls feel like people put labels on them, so they have to be in boxes.
That's right.
And a lot of times it's like, no, but we can think outside of the box. We can be outside of the box. We don't have to fit the mold. We don't have to do the traditional jobs, cooks and,
That's right.
stay-at-home moms. And
Mhm.
why do we have to be the nurses and the teachers?
That's
And
right.
why can't we be the lawyers? Why can't we be the CEOs? Why can't we be the IT directors? Like, what is wrong with a woman? Because at the end of the day, I tell anybody, if you want something done, you got to get a woman.
There you go.
Because
You're
we're going
right.
to get the job done
Mhm.
regardless. We're going to
Mhm.
make sure
Mhm.
whatever it takes. Oh, we need to work with this person and that person. Got it. We'll make it happen. We may not agree. We may disagree. We may not like each other. But at the end of the day, what I tell people all the time, women going to get the job
That's
done.
right.
We're going to work and then we're going to share with others. We're going to bring others alongside us. We're going to say, hey, girl, did you ever think about XYZ? Or, hey, come over here and let me introduce you to this person. Because that's what women do.
That's right.
That's what we do to get a job done. And I love the fact that you go into Hornsby. Talk about a little bit about what you do over there at Hornsby and how that started.
We started at Craig Hout, like I said, and Craig Hout, of course, closed. And so Dr. Pringle at the time, which she was superintendent, and she was phenomenal. And she knew that we would go over there and mentor the students. So what she did was she wrote me a letter herself and said, Tamika, I hope that you take this program to Hornsby, because
wow.
most of the students that you work with
will be
are moving over there to Hornsby. And a lot of the students just need somebody to actually, and it's not that I go there to push technology
No,
in
this is
that
something
arena.
totally
It's
different.
totally
It's
different.
totally different.
It's just more so to let them see, they see it with teachers and you see it, but it's a difference when somebody comes in that you don't see every day.
Right, from the outside.
And so you'd be surprised the things that fascinate kids, fascinate young girls, from a pair of shoes, to a pocketbook. These things, and while they are so fascinated with those things, is the opportunity that you must take to mold them.
Yeah.
And so many of us don't take that opportunity to
Yeah.
mold them. When they all fascinated about those things, just like you mentioned, well, what does it take to get these things that you're
Right.
fascinated with? Let me
Right.
tell you what it takes.
Right. Right.
There were so many young girls there, and still are, that need somebody just to talk to them. And they have another great organization that comes in. They have several great organizations that comes in and try to talk to various groups at the school. But they just really need, but they can never have enough.
Right.
And that's just not
Yeah.
Hornsby. It's a number of schools
Yeah.
that need it. I've been asked to go to different schools, but you can't
Yeah,
go
it's
to
only-
but so many.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that the community would get out and do some of those same things, because we need somebody
We do.
that can help these kids.
And these kids are the underserved. They're in some of our
Underserved.
poorest areas. And so they don't see success a lot. They don't see people out here going to work every day, doing the right thing and living the right way. So you coming in from the outside is kind of like, oh, wow, somebody cares about us other than our parents, other than our teachers, other than, some of them don't even get to see church. They don't get to see just your normal everyday things. And so when you told me about the program and going over there and just even small things like taking personal items because they need deodorant, they need, personal hygiene items. And you're thinking about, young girls in 2019
Right.
in our community still don't have access to just your everyday basic items that we take for granted. And you took it upon yourself to start a program where you address those needs. And then you go in and just show them, hey, this is who I am, but I'm real just like you.
Exactly.
But I want to come back and help you be what you can be. So I think that in itself, by itself, is commendable, because a lot of times people get so caught up in who they are, they don't take time to step back and give back. It's about me, myself, my four, and no more. And we forget about those less fortunate that are right here in our community. But if we don't help them, who will?
Exactly.
I mean, it's our responsibility, if we can and are able to. That's what our gifts are for. It's for others. It's not just for ourselves, it's for others. So I commend you, and I thank you so much for being the leader that you are. Even, and it's so funny, in the midst of some of the conversations that you hear about, our city government, and just even in the community itself, it's so disheartening to hear, well, why does she dress like that? Because she can. Because she wants to. Like, she's still a professional. Like, what is the issue? You wouldn't say that to a man.
No.
But women get that shade all the time.
Exactly.
Well, why do you wear heels and why do you wear dresses? That shouldn't even be a question. Do I do my job or not? Do I make you look good or not?
That's
At the end of the day, that's what the question should be.
You're exactly
Is she doing her job? Is she
Mhm.
making us look good? That should be the question. Don't ask me about what I'm wearing. That's another story.
Yes, a whole
We'll
nother-
leave that. We'll leave that for another time. I will end with that. But thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I
no.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to come back and
I
hang
will.
out with us and chat with us.
I definitely will.
And tell us all, because you just went to one more thing. You just went to Harvard.
Yes, I went to Bloomberg Harvard Leadership, and it was phenomenal. And it was great getting with other agencies from all over the world. So
Yeah.
we'll have to really talk about it. I'm going to have to come
You're
back.
going to have to come back. We'll do another segment.
Yes.
So
good.
thank you guys for joining us. Tuesday Talks. This is the live portion. We're ending for now, but we will be doing Q&A. So check us out. You'll be able to see us on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook channel, and Audio Mac. Just search for Tuesday Talks with Tonia. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Awesome, Tonia. That was awesome.
Yeah, you were awesome. I was like, yay.